25 years old, I've made over $6 million from flipping houses. But only 6 years ago, I was leaving my accounting class at Azusa Pacific University to pack up my car on a random Tuesday morning and drive all the way home, back up to Seattle with no idea at all what I was going to do next. In this video, I am going to tell you exactly how flipping houses has allowed me to live the life like only once could have imagined. With living in San Diego, on that house with a pool, to having a boat, to traveling whenever I want to. And I know that sounds like the douchey guy bragging. Trust me, if I would have told myself right now, sitting here at 25, what was going to happen over the next 6 years, 19 dropping out of school, I never, ever would have believed myself. So I'm going to take you on a journey of exactly how this happened and exactly how I would do it again if I had to start over from scratch. So when I was 19, I had gotten my real estate broker's license the summer before, and I was probably the worst real estate agent ever. And I was sitting the open houses, and I was showing up and showing buyers properties, and I was making about $2,000 a month. Now, you can imagine sitting in my parents' basement making $2,000 a month. Really, I felt like a loser. I feel like I made the wrong decision while all my friends are back and partying in school and having fun and working towards a degree and a future job that was, almost guaranteed to them. I was sitting in my parents' basement wondering, one, how am I ever going to meet a girl this way? And what does the future hold for me? A couple nights later, I remember sitting at Applebee's with a buddy of mine who was a football player for the University of Washington. And we went to Applebee's to meet up and talk about e-commerce and all this other stuff that I'd seen online because real estate just was not working for me. After about 5 minutes, I opened my Instagram and this check popped up on my Instagram story. This guy I had known with a $40,000 assignment fee he was bragging about as an Instagram story. He took a picture in front of Chase Bank with this $40,000 check. And I knew him. I said, man, if that guy could figure out how to do this, I can for sure figure out how to do a deal. So what I did then, I said, screw this e-com stuff, screw everything else. I'm going to figure out not how to be a real estate broker, but how to actually be a wholesaler and learn how to find properties to either flip or wholesale myself. Then I went and I hung my license at a brokerage, and all that brokerage did was they essentially found investors and they matched properties up with them that met their criteria and made a fee. This is called wholesaling. My brain broke. I said, what? I can literally go call someone who owns a beat up house, convince them to sell the house that's already beat up and needs work anyways, to an investor who buys them and flips them, and they'll pay me a fee, normally from $20,000 to $40,000 for doing that. And my mind was blown. I said, okay, this is for me. I had no social media following. I was 19 years old at the time, and I believe in the power of manifestation. So I was sitting there in my room and I'm like, man, I don't want one of these $10,000 fees. I want to make $100,000 in my first deal. And I was cold calling in my parents' attic for the next 6 months. And lo and behold, came that $105,000 check, which led into many more checks. And so I'm going to give you the system right now that's allowed me to print millions of dollars a year in wholesaling and flipping real estate. I talk about this a lot, you guys, but there's a natural progression of owning a business from being a hustler to an operator to an architect. And if I could go back and start over again, I'm knocked out. I wake up unconscious in a new city, having to start over again. The first thing I would ask myself, and I would ask you guys to start with, is how can I hustle my way to my first deal? Because when you're starting out, there's only two ways to get a deal: time or money. And most of you guys only have time. And so if you only have time, you got to hustle your way to a deal. What I'm going to do is use what I have right here. We all have access to these crazy iPhones, and I'm going to call what I call absentee property owners. What absentee property owners are the people that own a property in a certain location, but don't live in that property. And there's a secret list no one's going to tell you about called absentee out of state. So these are properties that people own in a state. They live out of state. These properties are either inherited or they bought those properties as rentals and moved out of state. And usually when these people want to sell, they don't want to come back into the state and deal with all the BS, and they're perfect prime opportunities. They get these what are called assignment fees, where I assign a property to a buyer for a fee. Because if you take a property I find, say Seattle, Washington, and it's beat up and someone lives in Oklahoma, and I call them and I say, hey, I know you have this property. I have an investor who can pay $400,000, or you say, hey, I'm going to pay $400,000 for this property. You get it under contract with what's called an and or assigns clause, which gives you the right to assign that to a buyer. I then go on Facebook groups or all the different ways to find buyers that I talk about on my channel here. So make sure you subscribe. Find an investor that'll pay $420,000 for that deal. Usually close of escrow. Closing that deal takes 2 to 4 weeks, and I can make my $20,000 in 2 to 4 weeks. And it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. Trust me. That's how I made most of my money in my life. I'd be cold calling these absentee out-of-state owners using the scripts that you can find on my page, using all the strategies you can find on my page, and I'd be calling them, making them offers for their house. Once I found my first deal or two, probably would take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Again, my first deal was $105,000, and my biggest deal was $175,000. But your first deal might might be 10, 20, 30 grand. Still life-changing money. And that's the power of this business. And I would get my first deal or two in the door. The next thing I would do, you guys, is I would start setting up the foundations of going from an hustler to an operator. Because now I have some money. Now I've stacked 30, 40, 50 grand in my bank account, and I want to keep doing those deals, but I don't want to keep cold calling myself. So to go from a hustler to operator, I would go and hire actual people to cold call for me. The company we use is called easybuttonleads.com. They do all of our cold calling for us in terms of reaching out to sellers, on having them call, investing the money I've already made, into having people do the grunt, the legwork for me, and then I would just be following up with my warm sellers. That's how I'd get my next $50,000, $100,000. Because what we're trying to do right now, you guys, is create a repeatable system to do deals over and over and over again. And then all I would continue to do, guys, is every single quarter I'd open up my calendar and I'd audit my days in 30-minute blocks and go, where am I spending my time on? And how can I buy my time back? And as you make more money, you guys, you're just going to continue to buy your time back. You say, I'm spending an hour a day finding buyers for my deals. Now I want to outsource that to a virtual assistant from Upwork, or I want to go hire a stateside person and hire them to be prospecting buyers. I don't really want to run my marketing and systems anymore, and I'm spending 2 hours a day running my marketing. I want to go hire someone at marketing manager to run my marketing. Oh man, I'm not really that good at sales. Maybe I want to just run the company and have someone else do the sales. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to go hire a salesperson. And you start to go up what I call the hiring ladder, from admin to fulfillment to marketing to sales to leadership. And this probably sounds crazy to you guys, but I'm telling you, you could be 2 years out not only having a company that over and over again does these wholesale and flip deals, but beyond that, you can have a real company and not just a hustle and a high-paying job. The third thing I would do, once I had hustled my way to my few deals, I built my system, my team to continuously do deals. The third thing that I would do and that I did is I would start cherry picking the super juicy deals to flip, keep, or wholesale. So a flip is I buy the house, I do the work myself, and I sell it. I can make $80,000 to $150,000 per deal. The wholesale is I buy it, I do a little bit of work to it, I put it on the MLS, an agent sells it to a buyer, and I make my money. Or 3, I could keep it as rentals and start building long-term wealth. And those are the 3-step ladders I took to get to where I am and how I've made millions of dollars in real estate, over $6 million since I was 19. And I'm now 25 sitting here talking to you. At 19, you guys, I remember staying up late in my parents' room. I never could have imagined where my life has gone, businessly, professionally, my personal life. And it's all because I learned how to wholesale. I mean, now I have 4 companies that do over 7 figures per year in revenue. And I have an income I couldn't have imagined, a life I couldn't have imagined, a team I couldn't have imagined. And overall, I'm so blessed. I give all the credit to learning how to find off-market deals and do real estate deals. I mean, it's something that is going to serve you the rest of your life. E-commerce is going to come and go. Forex is going to come and go. Crypto is going to come and go. The metaverse is going to come and go. AI is going to come and go. What's going to be around forever, you guys, is people needing somewhere to live. And if you can find a way to trade in that market, man, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of wealth, a lifetime of success, and a really good launching point. Like I say, truly, wholesaling real estate, flipping real estate is the gateway drug in entrepreneurship. I know 17-year-olds that have done multiple 6 figures a year, $100,000 deals, life-changing. I work with a lot of those guys in my program. So I'm telling you guys, you're going to get into any industry and you're 18 to 25, learning how to find real estate deals and flip wholesale and be a part of that game is something that, again, it'll change your life forever. I always say you're truly only one deal away from permanently changing your life and shifting your brain forever. And if you want to be walked through exactly how we do this, you guys, and how we've helped hundreds of investors do this, you can head over to offmarketoperator.com and my team will help you and I will help you guys get a jump start on this and take advantage of this loophole that you can get into that I call a gateway drug, not just real estate entrepreneurship, business ownership, and wealth as a whole.